knowledge became the part of the debate. You showed me a Quranic text which is dotless or diacriticless and asked me to read it. Are you suggesting seriously no one can read it, like scholars? Was Al-Tikulaj able to read it? Iqbaluddin, was he able to read it? Of course he was able to read it. He published the facsimile edition of it. And every single letter was transcribed in modern Arabic letters. How was he able to read it? Oh, no one can read it? It really, really is interesting to your way of thinking. Just because some non-scholars like myself cannot read it to the full, I have my friends who can read it. Why go to friends? Go to scholars. This is what I'm saying. The scholars can read it. So can Derosh. So can Keith Small, perhaps. Your scholars in Christianity, right? Studying to read it. Oh, they can't read it? Are you telling me that Keith Small? Are you telling me that Brubaker, they can't read it? Then I stand corrected. These people are just waffling. Your Keith Small and all these scholars that are now entered in academia, they can read any of our Qur'ans. But if you claim that they can do, then there are scholars who can do, even though they're devoid of vowels and diacritics. So the point is taken. The Qur'an that we read today, can we read our Qur'anic readings without those manuscripts? The example that you showed, the answer is categorically yes, 100%. And these manuscripts have been edited and published as facsimiles, and you can see every page there are transcriptions. We can read it exactly. And what do the scholars say? They are exactly in conformity for 1300 years. The copy one, for example, the Quran that we read today. Not my statement of the scholar Al-Tikulaj in the facsimile. Exactly that we read from the beginning of Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen to the end of Min al-Jinnati wan Nas. So yes, we can read it, scholars can. Variation changes meaning. Don't you get it, Hatun? If there are variations, we expect them to be, at least to have some changes in meaning. We are not saying they're all identical in meaning. There are slight differences in meaning, but all of the differences are not contradictory. They're all complementary. Every single one of the 71 that you put up, and you are unable to engage with even with one, Hatun, so afraid to discuss even one. Every single one of them I can show the meaning are complementary. Some of them have the same meaning which you fail to realize. Now, the dates of the 10 readings. Don't you get it, Hatun? Our Quran is transmitted from student to student to student, teacher to student to student. So if I learn my Quran without reading anything, I can memorize the Quran from my teacher without even looking at the Muslim. And he can give me the certificate at the end, Ijazah, saying yes, this is the Quran that I learned from my teacher. And that can all the way go back to Hafs and his teacher Asim and his teacher Sulami and his teacher Ibn Mas'ud and Ibn Ka'ab and their teacher Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who received from Angel Jibreel alayhi salam, who received from Allah. We have this golden, direct, successive change. Your dates are irrelevant because every generation the Quran has been taught like this. You don't need even in a written form. How did the blind, before the braille came into existence, learn the Quran? They memorized it from their teacher. Their teacher memorized from their teacher, and so on. So the Quran has been accurately preserved in all of these traditions that we consider mutawatir, these 10 readings. Yes, we have the direct link to the Prophet. You fail to realize this, even though you know it's there in our traditions. I have them in a graph form, if you want so wish to see them. Now, I asked you to provide evidence for your 31 Qur'ans are 31 different Qur'ans. I didn't ask you to go to our Islamic sources, what Ubay bin Ka'ab and Abdul Masud said. Because you claim you now have in your position 31 different Qur'ans. So in your 31 different Qur'ans, where are the extra ayah? Where are the less than the one ayah? Where are the extra surah? Where are the less than one surah? Where are they?
Some.
Shut up!
Show us, yeah, show us. Show us to shut up. Ask you this question.
According to lovely Muslims, there is one perfect Quran, not even a dot changed. And thank you very much, Mansur, for confirming us that actually it has changed and they are different. It changed the meaning of it. Thank you for confirming. Thank you for confirming. Quran does not go back to Muhammad 1300 years. Muhammad goes back to 1400 years. So your Quran has got nothing to do with Muhammad. Even the current Quran you are reading has got nothing to do with Muhammad. Here, how the memorization works. You trust people's memorization. People memorize as they read it. They look at the paper, they read it, they memorize it. That's why they write it down. You never been to mosque? I've been to mosque where people were teaching how to memorize the verses. You've got scripture in front of you. You read it, and you read it, and you read it, and you read it until you memorize it. You read it until you memorize it. I can see you are demanding me to produce you a chapter or a verse which is different than the Hafs Quran. You fail to respond to my questions. Why should I respond to your question? But I'm going to be lovely and I'm going to respond to that question. So, Ubay bin Ka'b had extra chapters. Why don't you have a problem with him? Ibn Masud has less chapters. Why don't you have a problem with him? Here. If I am lying, why people are giving me death threats? I wonder. Another days is 21st century Quran. Your lovely Muslims are telling us they cannot take Surah 9, verse 128, 129, part of their Quran. Thank you for confirming that Quran throughout centuries have been corrupted, contains many textual variations. Thank you for confirming the Quran you are reading is only 1,300 years old and it does not go back to Muhammad 1,400 years. It does not go back to Muhammad. You talked about lovely and golden chains. It's sad to say though, those chains are broken, those chains need to be fixed, and it doesn't look like they are golden chains. They cannot be golden chains. Can you please tell me why are you so afraid of those dating for the readings? Why are you so afraid for those dates? Since you're afraid, let's just enlighten the world what are the datings for those things. Guys, remember, in 9th century, people had already 25 different Arabic Qurans. In 10th century, people had 50 different Arabic Qurans. In 9th century again, 22 different Arabic Quran was exist. In 930s, 960s, 26 different Arabic Quran was exist according to Nadim, who is the librarian. Here are the dates, which Mansur is so afraid to talk about the date of the readings. So let's start with the dating for the Hafs. Dating for the Hafs is 805. You do the maths. How many years that's after Muhammad? How many years? Nearly 200 years after death of Muhammad. Hafs Quran you are reading today has got nothing to do with Muhammad, and for sure Mansur confirmed for us with it, showing us the textual variations. It has nothing to do with the Uthmanic Quran as well. Also, in your this golden chain, I think we have to call that bronze or aluminium, something else. It cannot be golden chain. Can you please tell me, why did you pick the Hafs Quran?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Khalifa cult, the Sabitas cult, they do not accept the last verse of Surah At-Tawbah, and she showed an English translation. So if they consider Quran to be English, they are not even worth discussing. Do they have a Quran which has Arabic Quran less than this translation, which you should provide? And you actually didn't show that any example like that. You provided an English translation. Useless and worthless in this discussion, in an academic point of view. Now, the Quran that we have can be traced only to 1300 years to the Prophet. You misconstrue my words again. I gave one example of how a particular scholar was to read this manuscript without diacritics, without vowels, and this particular manuscript, he dated it to that point. It doesn't mean we don't have anything earlier. I mean, certainly someone has a comprehension problem here. Chains are broken. What evidence do you have? What evidence do you have that our chains are broken? We have all the chains which are all directed to the Prophet. I have them all here. What evidence do you have? You provided what? Zilch. Now, 8th century, there are 9th century, 25 to 50 Arabic Qur'ans. Ibn Lazim's list. You are going back to traditions, excuse me, you're going back to traditions again, both of you interrupting. You're going back to traditions without substantiating any evidence that yes, there is this different Quran. So I asked you again, the debate was, you talk about there are 26 different Arabic Qur'ans. Don't you say that? I came along to debate that subject. I didn't come along to debate the manuscripts in Sana or the manuscripts in Paris. So you keep shifting the debate. Within this 31 Quran that you said are different, you have so far failed miserably, but still hope to provide within the 31 Qur'ans that you have an extra ayah more or less, an extra chapter more or less. So here is my tick list. My tick list. Are there 114 chapters in the 31 Qur'ans, more or less? She provided no evidence to the contrary. So it's still the same Qur'an. Are there any different surahs? She provided nothing. Still the same one Qur'an. A surah order different between this 31 Qur'ans? She provided nothing. Still the same Qur'an. A verse text, more or less, within the 31 Qur'ans, she provided nothing. Still the same Qur'an. Any of these ayahs that we cannot read in the manuscripts, she provided nothing. Same Qur'an.
Can I have one copy?
Yeah. Did she provide 3 examples? Why I chose 3? You know why. 3 examples of the differences between the Hafs Qur'an. She says there's more than one Hafs. She says there's more than one Hafs. Did she provide any differences between the Hafs? Between them? Any differences between the Warsh? So far, zilch. So in my tick list, she provided no evidence to substantiate the claim that the Quran is more than one. So I stand here making this debunking of your claim that there is only one Quran. There is only one text. There is one Quran the Prophet taught in the multiform way of recitation, as I demonstrated from the examples after examples after examples. So you
have different Bibles. It's not like that.
You talked about a sheep, brother. Brother, you're interrupting again. Cameraman, please take your patience. A sheep eating the verses. Did no one else know this? Of course they knew this verse. It didn't disappear from existence. But what you don't realize this, we believe, most of us scholars believe, in the concept of abrogation of this verse. So even if the sheep ate it or whatever, or lost, that is not going to be part of the Quran. The Prophet ﷺ left exactly the Quran that he recited twice in the last year of his death. And that Quran is what we read today. So far what we have seen, we see the example of one Qur'an of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, recited in different recitations, but they all trace back to our Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Okay, my turn now. So,
Thank you again.
it is amazing. It is amazing that Mansur confirms that there were the multiple Qur'ans. There were the multiple Qur'ans, and Muslims are so happy about that. There were multiple Qur'ans at the time of Muhammad, which confirms when Mansur stood here and then said there is only one perfect Qur'an, that discredit Mansur. When Muslims says there is only one perfect Quran, they are discrediting Muhammad, they are discrediting the caliphs, they are discrediting the Islamic tradition. There was never one perfect Quran. You talked about the golden chains. I am sad to say that golden chain become an aluminium chain and it needs to be fixed. It's broken and it is shaped. Explain me who is Hafs. Explain me what do you know about him? What do you know about his teacher? Why are you so scared of answering those basic questions? Why are you so scared of talking about the dates for the readings? You are talking about the surah orders. You know, at the time of Muhammad, they were not even in that order. At the time of Muhammad, they were not in the order. The verse sheep eat it. It is very sad news for Muslims. Allah confirms in the Quran, He is going to protect the Quran. Surah 15 verse 9, Surah 6 verse 115. Allah confirms He is going to protect His word, yet amazing sheep turns up out of the blue, comes and eat the verses, yet those verses are not in the Quran. Your powerful Allah failed to protect the verses from a sheep. That is amazing. There are approximately 568 verses are missing in current Quran. You are not questioning those, but you are questioning others. If that, let's say, sake of the argument, if the verse which sheep eat it, shouldn't, it's abrogated verse, why do you have other abrogated verses in the current Quran? Why did you put them, yet you fail to put this verse which is eaten by sheep? Can you just explain to me, who is this Hafs guy? How can you trust Hafs while he borrowed the book and he never bothered to return that book? How can you trust him? How can you be sure that his chains confidently goes back to Muhammad while you know they've got nothing written? They've got nothing written. We know Ubay bin Ka'b is in the chain of Hafs, and we know Ubay bin Ka'b's Quran was different. That was a different, yet you put a bunch of the list of the names in the Islamic tradition and tells us that's the golden chain. No, that's a broken aluminium chain, needs to be fixed. That's not a golden chain. So, yes, there are 31 different Arabic Qurans.
Yeah.
They are different Arabic Qurans.
Okay.
It's not because I say so, it's because Quran itself says so.
Okay. Here we go. Go ahead.
I know Mansur doesn't know Arabic. He doesn't understand Arabic. He cannot translate Arabic. He will be failing to read them probably. Maybe he can read them, but he cannot understand them. Ma'am, can you hold on?
I don't understand what she's saying.
Here is the thing.
My friend, just
Those are the Qurans. They all name differently. So this is the Quran of Al-Susi. That is the Quran of Al-Susi.
This is a picture. This is a picture.
This is the Quran of Abu Jafar.
Show us the variation in them.
That's the Quran of Yaqub. That's that's the Quran of Yaqub. And it is all 31 of them. You are seeing only pictures because every time when I bring the Qurans down, I have to protect myself and I have to protect my Qurans. That's why you are seeing the pictures.
Yeah, the Quran is 300.
Pictures of the covers you show. It says very clearly, Quran, the riwayat of this. In the readings of the riwayat of this. This is what we believe. The Quran has been translated.
The Quran is 33
Riwayah.
books.
Excuse me.
A Quran.
In this reading. So yes,
A Quran,
what she hasn't
33
shown
books.
is where the differences of chapters and verses are. I kept telling her it's the same, and she keeps saying it's different, and the evidence is not provided. Here is your golden opportunity, Hatun, to provide the differences. I've already done the tick list. You still have some chance to untick it. Now, you talk about who is Hafs. Hafs, we have his biography. We know when he lived. We know when he died. We know who his teachers are. We know what was told about him. Like Yahya bin Mu'in says, الرواية الصحيحة التي رويت عن قراءة عاصم رواية أبو عمر حفص بن سليمان. The correct, authentic translation riwayah is the reading of Asim. You have other, like الذهبي, he says أما في القراءة فالثقة ثابت ضابط لها بخلاف حاله في الحديث. In hadith he may be weak because he wasn't concerned with hadith, but in Quran he is ثقة, trustworthy. ضابط is totally upright, so there is no problem with this Quranic recitation. He is totally perfect in his recitation. His memory is perfect, his recitation is perfect. We have examples of this testimony of Simi brothers.
Bible 300 books.
Testimonies
Explain that
of
for me.
Hafs. You mentioned, not realizing from your teachers who misunderstood the Islamic text, that Hafs, the same Hafs, borrowed a book and didn't even return it. This was another Hafs. Go and check the traditions carefully. The scholars have responded clearly. This Hafs and that Hafs is not the same. So you're conflating the names and you think, oh, it must be the same person. Go and read more about it. You learn that your superficial reading of your sources are not going to help you. Now, you talk about Mansur don't know Arabic, and yet he was able to translate read your Arabic Bible. He was able to read the other Quran. What I said is, I may not read the vowel-less text of the Mus'haf, the manuscript, properly. It doesn't mean I may not know how to read it. I don't want to make a mistake in reading the Quran. That is my reservation. If you want, I can demonstrate that it's easy done. You can even learn it, like Kids Small and others. I'm sure they have learned. So, coming back to the debate again, Quran. Where is the different chapters and verses within the 31 Qur'an?
Show us.
Did you show one example? No. You keep on running to Ubay bin Ka'ab, running to before. The debate was not that. We can arrange another debate if necessary. The debate today is your claim. We have 26 Qur'an. Isn't that in the YouTube? Right, now it's 31. So this 26 Qur'an is what I want to debate you with. Where is the extra chapter or less? Where is the extra verse or less? I provided, while you were running away from providing even single example, lots of examples, and I am able to do all 71 if time permits, showing you how this is from the one same Quran, and the meanings how they are complementary. You keep avoiding the subject matter of the debate. What are we debating? How good my Arabic is, or is there one Quran or many Qur'ans? You need to refocus in the debate title, Hatun. Right. So now let's go back again. There are so many verses that are removed. What did I tell you? We believe in the abrogation. That the Quran the Prophet left behind is the Quran is intended for us, for posterity. The Prophet left this Quran, and that is the Quran we Muslims believe in. Earlier on, there may have been revelations that Allah sent and He abrogated. This is our belief, because Allah changes the people depending on their circumstances. He may leave certain verses, even they're obligated, or take them away. If the ayat al-rajam, the stoning verse, was part of the Quran, this is one opinion, and there's another opinion, it was never a part of the verse, and we have examples to demonstrate that. It was abrogated. So what are you talking about? The Prophet left the Quran, and that is the Quran that we believe and will read.